So we've gone from, those 3 big apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado that were taken over by Tren de Aragua. That was a figment of your imagination, to Homeland Security, 16 states, multiple cities. Over half of the population of the United States is now impacted by an infiltration of Tren de Aragua. Let's get into it. Here we go. Tennessee, the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, they just came out with a report saying, yep, they're in our 4 major cities. Here's what that looks like.
Tren de Aragua is now operating in every major city in the state. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Director David Roush has been warning local leaders about the growing threat and joins us now. Sir, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thank you, Lauren.
So, what's the big issue as it relates to your law enforcement capabilities? Is the current federal, detainers and all that preventing you from doing your job? Give us the scope.
No, I don't think it's any of that. I think what we have is, unfortunately, because of the porous border, this gang has exploited it, and they are actively working throughout our country. And we know, because of our investigations, they are actively working in Tennessee. They are in our 4 major cities, Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga, and they are running human trafficking operations right now. We first noticed them about 2 years ago during a trafficking operation in Middle Tennessee. And we thought, after we had captured a few of them, we knew some of them had fled. We thought that they would move out of Tennessee, but they have moved back. And we are aware now, after some meetings this past month, we're aware that they are moving into different operations. They go from human trafficking to organized retail crime theft. And then they move into the drug trade, taking on the cartels in a very violent, bloody battles that they've had. And they also have zero respect for policing. They have attacked law enforcement officers throughout our nation.
Make sure you head on over to Reasonable TV if you're enjoying this content. We got a members only section there. We got 10 people stabbed in Seattle within 37 hours. That was a wild story. Jeremy Harris kind of does an in-depth, and because of the violent nature of that one, I can't show it on, the regular channels. On top of that, we got free crack pipes for addicts in Los Angeles Skid Row. That's a big deal right now because they're getting these crack pipes and then they're selling them to buy more drugs. $3.99 a month, 14-day free trial on reasonabletv.com. Check it out. Thanks in advance. Bye for now. They are literally a violent Venezuelan prison gang. They've been dumped out of the prison system there because they've got a dictator leader in Venezuela that just zero control over the country. So the vicious Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua has expanded its territory to at least 16 U.S. states in an area that includes half of America's population. Let's give you this view. Yeah, so most recently, D.C., Virginia, Montana, Wyoming. Look at this map here. Look at this map. I mean, if that doesn't tell you, those are some cities, some states with some massive population. California, Florida, Texas. I mean, we know they're in Oregon. They just don't have a big presence. And as a result, they're in Washington too. Don't worry. Give it a couple of months. They'll pop up. They'll pop up all over the United States because anywhere there are people who want to do drugs. And, you just keep going down this road of where there's a population center, there's an opportunity for a little bit of sex trafficking, human trafficking. I mean, some drugs, some retail theft. I mean, everybody's got stores, right? So that's what they're doing. Let's take a look at, take a peek at this one. This is a joint VFC NVRIC intelligence bulletin. That is just a mouthful, isn't it? It almost looks like the mariner symbol, doesn't it? Almost nautical. But it's the expansion of Tren de Aragua across the United States presents challenges for law enforcement. And they go kind of on to talk about, where they are and what that looks like. And they point out some bullet points of, it's like when who was it? The mayor of Aurora, Colorado said, you know what? There's really no issues here. I mean, that's just kind of more of a figment of your imagination. You're just imagining Tren de Aragua taking over these 3 buildings. It's not that big of an issue, but it was an issue. And we know it's an issue. And we know this isn't going away because this is gang warfare, right? This is gang warfare. They're not going to back down. There's a market to be had. There are women to be raped and then murdered, as in the Laken Riley. Now, she didn't get the R worded, but it's just been kind of broken. Ali Bradley from Newsweek just confirmed that the suspect, Department of Homeland Security, confirmed Ali Bradley that the suspect in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley is a confirmed member of Tren de Aragua. He was out hunting for women. He violently tried to sexually assault her. She wouldn't give up. When she wouldn't give up, and she just didn't give up, he bashed her head in with a rock. So, coming soon to a city near you, a little bit of human trafficking, maybe some, raping and some assault and then some head bashing with a rock. And we've got drugs, because drugs and human trafficking, sex trafficking, those always go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Then you're going to have a little gang warfare. So if you're okay with all this, keep that southern border wide open. And that's why people are so worked up, because this whole thing is just an absolute train wreck. So in the case of Laken Riley, and she was a college girl out taking an early morning jog. She was out exercising, and some guy is just on the hunt for women, and horrible, horrible way to go. Jose Ibarra crossed into the country through El Paso back in 2022 and was released with the court date back to lack of bed space, according to DHS. He was arrested while in the U.S., but not removed because of the nature of the crime. 26-year-old from Venezuela is charged with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, and concealing the death of another. He waived his right to a jury trial, so his fate rests in the hands of the judge. He'll get life. He'll get life. They'll convict him. He'll get life. Here he is. I mean, he came to the United States and he has zero respect for anything going on here. Why are we bringing these people into the country? Make that make sense. You know what I mean? You've got to have a vetting process. Maybe a little remain in Mexico. This guy shouldn't be in the country. As the other 400,000 that are here with convictions, criminal convictions, they shouldn't be here either. Send them back. Send them back home. But we're not doing that because the United States doesn't have diplomatic relations with Venezuela to the point where we're going to send 300,000 your way. All right, take them back. The gang has only increased its violent tendency as it spreads, the memo added. Tren de Aragua's arrival in the nation's capital in nearby Virginia coincided with increases in migrant populations there. So when the migrants go up, that's when the gang members come in, because now they've got young females, vulnerable young females, that they can turn into doing tricks to create revenue. Sex trafficking, because they're working off a debt that the coyotes put on them to bring them into the country. So they've got built-in labor support for a built-in, criminal enterprise. And then while they're pimping out the young ladies, they sell drugs to the Johns. Yeah. It's a one-stop shopping center, these places. As the population of Venezuelan nationals continues to increase, the potential for violent Tren de Aragua migrants is highly probable. Well, what they're saying is when you've got one, you've got the other. You got one, you got the other. In a one run-in conflict with the cutthroat gang in Virginia, cops in Fairfax County arrested 3 suspected members in August 2023 for shoplifting. And organized retail theft is another big thing because they know it's so easy. It's so easy. Hey, your laws are pretty, they don't really impact us. We're not going to do any time. And especially if you're robbing stuff, you're stealing stuff in a sanctuary city, nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing's going to happen to you. Some of these convicted felons that are here illegally, they've just got multiple after multiple after multiple cases that are stacking up. And you know what? These big blue sanctuary cities, you know what they do? Get out there, Tiger. You can do better than that. We know you can do better than that. And they just keep releasing them because that's what the federal mandate has been on illegals in sanctuary cities. We're not working. I should say the cities are not working with federal authorities to deport those who should be deported. Now, I mean, that just absolutely makes zero sense to me. I mean, we're such do-gooders here. Okay, but you want to have this dude who's trying to rape and then murder your citizens. You're okay with that. You're okay with that part. Well, no, you can't have one without the other. If you let millions of folks into the country, you're going to have a certain percentage that are going to go sideways on you that are already going to be criminals. And that's what we're talking about here, right? So Tren de Aragua's members are increasingly engaged in lower level fraud and theft schemes, sending their stolen funds back to South America as a means of financing additional criminal enterprises. Always sending it home, right? They're good little soldiers. They're sending their money back. In one case, a suspected Tren de Aragua member withdrew $118K from a Florida bank account with fraudulent check deposits and wired the money to bank accounts in Venezuela before any fraud was detected. He was in, he was out, money gone, boom. Sayonara. Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that? These guys are not dumb. They are not dumb. And they're just making a mockery of the United States. Tren de Aragua put out a green lit, taking a shot at cops. They're like, oh yeah, you guys can do it. You guys are all good. If you need to, go ahead and take the shot. Take a cop out. We're not too worried. We don't care. Not our country. It's on you guys. So you got all these folks that are in these big blue sanctuary cities, and they're trying to convince us that, crime isn't that bad. Well, any one of these crimes, any one of these Lake and Riley incidents where somebody's murdered out going for a run, I mean, of all things, trying to be healthy, and she has that happen to her. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. But you know what? Go ahead and keep up that wide open southern border. It should all work out fine. I mean, this is literally blood on the Biden administration's hands. And if you voted for the Biden administration, this reflects on you. Kamala Harris was the border czar. And a lot of help that did, right? A lot of help that, tell that to Lake and Riley's parents. See how that's going for them. Horrific cases. And the trial is ongoing right now for Lake and Riley. So that's been kind of a big media deal. And, you can't bring Lake and Riley back. You just can't. So, all of this is just water under the bridge. But moving forward, you got to drop the hammer on these folks. And that's what Donald Trump is saying he's going to do with the help of National Guard and Homeland and, other officials that are going to come down on these folks. Initially, they're going to go after the criminals. And that's where they should start. Get these bad guys out. This guy needs to be in jail somewhere forever. Forever. You murder a United States citizen, an innocent girl. Yeah, he should get the death sentence, but it doesn't seem like we're doing the death sentence much. And that was Georgia. Maybe Georgia does have the death sentence. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that one up. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Bye for now.